So Carlos Mencia is here. I was hoping he was going to come in. I don't think he is. He closed the door.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, the door. I think the door's closed.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
But I really wanted to talk to him. I wasn't going to bring up, all the obvious shit about him. Because, like the whole thing, Joe Rogan and all that stuff. I wasn't going to bring all any of that up because he's talked about it 1,000,000,001 times. Like if anyone's really interested in that, they could find it on other interviews. He's done 1,000,000 interviews about it. He's apologized for, the time period. He's kind of come clean on it all.
Right.
What I want to talk to him was about rebuilding. Because after you are the top of the mountain,
and he was
the top guy for a long time, right?
Yes,
for a couple of years.
Yep.
And then to fall like chutes and ladders all the way to the bottom.
Right.
And I wanted to know what that's like, in a sense, to find it within you.
It's hard enough to find it once.
Right.
Then you have to do it again.
Imagine you work your ass off for years and years and years. You get to the peak. You're there.
Right.
And then back to pretty much day one, and working the clubs, working the fucking, off nights, weird. He might even work bars. Who the fuck knows? He started from ground zero all over again. So I wanted to really ask him and kind of see if we can get that from him of where does it come from inside to not give up and to try again. To me, that's commendable in a way. You went in the green room earlier today.
I did.
And you stood in the room because there was the other comic. What was the kid's name?
Tony Damas was in there, and I know Tony.
So you were hoping that Tony would be like, "Hey, Tony, what's up? This is Carlos. How you come on in and kind of break the ice." Instead, he just kind of left you standing in the doorway where Carlos said, "Can I help you with something?" Carlos like, "Are you here to take my order or what's going on here?" "I'll take a fish fillet with fries, please."
Fish fillet.
He looks like he would enjoy a fish fillet. No, but it was awkward. So you're like, very awkward. And you said, "I'm just standing here."
And then I just stared at him.
Yeah, you said, "I'm just standing here," and then you're like, "I'm just standing here." That's the best answer ever. You just basically told him the truth. "Can I help you?" "No, I'm just standing here." And then you introduced yourself to, or he asked you your name.
Right. And somewhere in there, I finally said, I'm running the podcast room if you'd like to come in at some point. And then I went to shake his hand. Because I think I said it's nice. I think I said something like, "It's nice to finally meet you," or something.
Right, yeah.
And then he just looked at me, "What's your name?"
Yeah.
So I can report you to James.
Yes.
Oh, there
Carlos,
he is.
What's up?
There he is.
How you doing, man?
Still on?
Yeah, we're on. Come on. Come have a seat.
Wow, Carlos Mencia is just
very nice.
How you doing, bro?
How are you, my friend?
Nice to meet you, man.
I appreciate you coming in.
I didn't think you guys were still here.
Yeah, we're still going. He's out of breath. How'd it go?
You just got off stage?
I just got off stage.
You don't have to put those on if you don't want to.
No, it was awesome. It was, you know what? I love shows where people that are at the show lend serious credence to the jokes, right? Because my jokes, pretty much 90-ish% of them, they're not just about funny. They're about something else, right? Teaching you some lesson, teaching you some perspective, giving you a vantage point that you might not have ever seen before. Or, hey, you see it that way? Let me show you how other people see it. Let me show you how I see it. Let me show you how they see it. Let me, that kind of thing. And so there were two kids in the front row that are 16 that right out the gate, it's like, to these kids, I can't imagine what I would have felt if I was 16 years old and I was allowed to watch somebody like Sam Kinison.
Right, sure.
Right.
That's who I am.
That changes your life.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of material.
Right.
I can't imagine that those kids are not going to be so affected by it. So right out the gate, there's a responsibility, right? Of like, hey, man, you got to teach these kids something. You got to show these kids something.
Right,
you got to
right.
give these kids some perspective. Yeah. But it also allows a lot of the jokes to be more authentic because they're there to show. So when I do jokes about parenting or jokes about kids or jokes about how to do that, they're there.
Right.
And I get to look at them and go, what did your parents do? How did your parents say it? And then they react. And it's just such a beautiful show. And then I know that at the end, I'm going to do some dick jokes about their parents. and make them feel just unbelievably uncomfortable. But then again, you know, that comes from me having 11 sisters and 6 brothers and being the 17th born. Do you know how many times on a Sunday morning, my dad would literally be like, smell my finger. And I was like, that's great. Are you being serious? And he's like, yeah. And your mother, look, she's making you she's putting her hands on your food. Do you know where her hands were last night? Like, dude. And we were so poor that I couldn't miss a meal.
Right. Yeah.
I would eat that goddamn food with the holding a tortilla, looking at my mom like, you better wash your hands a lot, Mom.
Tortillas never tasted the same after that.
Never tasted the same.
Hot sauce on it makes it go away.
Exactly. But like all that stuff is to me what makes it good. And right now with all of this sensitivity, you know, with people not understanding that the world will never be perfect. Right. Not in our lifetimes.
Which is why this is the
that's why we need comedians to kind of...
Yeah, but they're trying to make us...
Right. Make it difficult.
What they're basically saying is, hey, Corchester, stop making fun of the king.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But it's like, but that's literally my job.
Right, exactly.
There's one person in this room that can tell the king the truth, but make it funny. Just one.
Right.
And it's me.
That's right.
Exactly. And when you take that, if that were to be taken away from us, it's
no, then we're done.
Because so the Seinfelds of the world, well, not even Seinfeld, because Jerry himself doesn't perform at colleges anymore.
Right.
Because Jerry Seinfeld,
look what they're doing to him.
who I don't think has ever said fuck,
right,
on a stage,
right,
when that guy is offensive.
Right,
and he's getting.
There's something wrong with the system.
Yeah, but those but you're not finding those people in the clubs, though, are you?
No.
Right. Good.
No.
Right.
But you know, club sales are down for all comedy clubs.
Yeah.
For all clubs.
Yeah. It's
everybody talks about the hot clubs in Manhattan.
Right.
But they don't tell you about the 8 clubs that are 20% full.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a difference though between the city where it's a lot of tourism as opposed to here. Long Island, I don't think they're hurting as bad because most of Long Island's like, I don't give a shit about that. Make me laugh, motherfucker.
They do, but here's the problem. The problem is that whenever there's so you got 4 people. Hey, what do you feel like doing? Somebody goes, let's go to comedy club.
Right.
Somebody goes, who's there? I heard that. I don't know. Right? How many sentences is it going to be till the other 3 go, fine, then what else are we going to do?
Right, exactly.
And when, enough of those people on a daily basis say that, then, here's another problem. Another problem is we're getting a lot of hecklers now. Why? Because most comedians are not going to put real material on there. You save it for a special.
Crowd stuff.
Right.
So what are you doing? Crowd work.
Yep.
So what is the message that TikTok, Instagram, Reels, all that is sending?
Right.
It's sending the message that this happens and it's normal.
People are coming to the clubs now
yelling out
expecting
stuff.
for that.
Right. Yes. Right. Yelling out, being part of the show, and getting mad at the comedians when we tell them to shut up.
Right.
Which, by the way, they are not wrong.
Right.
Because this is what we're showing them.
They're conditioned to think that that we can do
they're behaving in Pavlovian way, and we are going like, why are they doing this?
And they want to go viral or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So we're doing that ourselves, but in also doing that, we're saying you don't have to come to the comedy club.
Right. You just watch this.
Watch this. Yeah. And then because they're now getting monetized, now people like me who use profanity and do racial stuff, the algorithm suppresses our videos.
Right.
Like I literally had to talk to YouTube about it.
Yeah.
They're like, I noticed the algorithm stopped sending my videos.
Right.
Why?
Wow.
And they watched it and looked at it and said, oh, it's because you did this one. You said this one thing.
You said something about
and it was funny, but it was.
Yeah.
So I said the N-word, but it wasn't. It was about the N-word itself. So you can't say the N-word on stage. You have to say what it is.
Right.
And so I was talking about that and the use of it. Anyway.
Right. You had
so
a
that
whole bit about
all the algorithm heard was nigga. That's all it heard.
Right.
Not that, hey, this word came from this. It's different than Niger. It's like none of that. It just heard that and went, oh, this is racist.
The fact that it's Carlos Mencia doesn't change YouTube's
no
the algorithm?
Like,
Or
does it
anything?
get a break on
they
it?
can come, right? It's not going to stop you from going to my channel.
Spread it out.
What it's going to do is it's going to stop from going everywhere because there's a comedian out there, a young guy most likely, who's just doing jokes about, nothing.
Right.
No codes in there. No, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just, stupid jokes that we tell when we're young.
Right.
And those are the ones that are getting just thrown everywhere because the difference now, see, YouTube is actually worse than networks. And here's why. When you get a TV show with any network, before you even tape it, they read the transcript of whatever you're going to do.
Right.
And, somebody from the department comes in and says, hey, just so you know, we're not okay with this. Can you change this? Can we say it this way? No. What about this way? Yes. There you can say it, but you can't say it like this.
Right. So they
But you at least get to figure out how to get your message across.
Right. Sure.
You're like, I have this message. Well, it's in Italian. Well, I speak Spanish. Don't like Spanish either. I speak Portuguese. You can do it in Portuguese. Like that's the thing.
Right.
The problem with the algorithms for YouTube is that they don't know who they're advertising for.
Okay. Right.
So they
Right.
just
So
pick
when
up
you
the
have
word.
advertising dollars and you go to NBC, you go, I want to go on this show. I want to go on the Repeat of Friends.
Right.
Right? When your whatever company goes on, right? Like the last one was Burger King, right? Burger King was all over my YouTube. They just put it on any video. Right. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. So when, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I do a joke about how my mother who had 18 kids never blew my dad and she obviously swallowed, I'm sure the Burger King Corporation is not happy that right after that, at BK, have it your way. You rule. Like, whoa, wait a minute.
With a special sauce.
Exactly.
And the YouTube algorithm, though, it picks up words.
Correct.
So if you're breaking down what the N word is in a
Correct.
comedic way, in a comedy
Right.
bit, all it hears is the N word, and then it goes, okay, we gotta.
My
take the algorithms away.
my friends got suppressed because he said there was bullying a lot of when I was a kid, and then she went on to talk about how she got bullied.
Right.
It wasn't, and the algorithm suppressed it because the word bullying was in it.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
Yeah, so that's what's
That's
going
the
on.
problem.
Right.
So what does somebody of your stature do about it?
Well, I have to be intelligent enough to point out the hypocrisy in it.
Yeah.
Right. I also have to accept that part of this was our fault as comedians, and it's our fault.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Here's why. I know a comedian whose punchline to a joke was, "If my kid turns out to be a fag, I'll stab him in the neck."
Right. Was that? I think
It's a
that was-
lazy
I
joke.
think I know who that is.
It's
yeah.
a lazy joke.
Yeah.
I don't care about the stabbing part. Right. It's a
Right,
joke.
right.
I don't care.
Right.
It's a lazy joke.
Sure.
It's not creative.
Right.
It's just you when you get lazy like that and audiences call you on it, that's your fault. That's number one.
Okay.
We got
All right.
lazy with stuff.
Right.
You know, we stopped trying to be intricate about it. We stopped trying to, well, it's a dick joke. Doesn't mean you can't flavor it, baby. Doesn't mean you
Right.
can't make it a joke.
Yep.
Right.
There's got to be a
It's gonna be layers.
right?
Sometimes there gotta be layers.
There has to be all the time.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, edgy comedians started to apologize for jokes.
Yeah.
I will never apologize for a joke. I have apologized for hurting feelings.
Sure.
Right.
Why? Because that's not my goal.
Right.
Right.
Totally
And it's two different things.
Completely different things.
Right.
But the minute I say, I'm sorry I said that, I'm accepting that shouldn't have been said.
Right.
And I have never said something that shouldn't have been said.
Right.
I've said things that I wish I could take back,
Right.
but not that shouldn't be said.
Right.
And so we started apologizing, which led them to go, oh, so you were wrong.
Right.
Then we added these. So part of it was our fault. And this purge is good because those of us that really know how to do it are going to strive and survive. And those that were pretenders are going to learn how to do it or fall to the side, because I'm edgier today than I ever was.
No kidding. Yeah.
I'm just better at it. I'm so much better at it than I was then that 20 years ago, for me to walk 10 people a show, 20 people a show, depending on how big the place was, it was pretty average.
Right. Right.
Today, if I walk a couple, Like last night, I thought I walked a couple.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like, damn, I didn't say anything because in my head I was like, you never know.
Right.
See, like that right there. 20 years ago, I'd have been like, where are you going, pussies? What's up? And this time, I was like, ooh, I'll find out later what happened. Like, I wonder what happened. And then I found out that their babysitter called them and said, hey, your kid's sick. You come back.
Right. Yeah.
So they didn't want to leave.
It wasn't you. Yeah.
They had to leave.
Right.
So, like, now that shows me.
But I heard about that. What actually happened was the babysitter said that they were upset over your jokes, and that's what made
And the kid went, fuck Carlos Mencia.
his first words.
But it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding right now. I've felt a call to comedy 3 times in my life. Like that I knew that comedy was saying, Carlos, you specifically need to do something.
Right. Wow.
One of them was in 92 when the riots occurred.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that I could do jokes
Were you
from both
comedian
perspectives.
at that point already?
So it started in 88, so I was 4 years in.
So you were already doing it.
But I was still raw. But I could do jokes about being a looter and how stupid it was to loot. So I could do all those jokes, right?
Sure.
I could do the jokes about the Koreans who misspelled words, trying to say that they were black. Like, I could do those jokes. I felt needed. Then I felt needed on September 11th.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was watching a show at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, and every comedian would go on stage. Ready? Okay. The minute they said anything about terrorism, September 11th, you could see the audience perk up. But nobody was doing jokes about it.
Yeah.
So they would it was almost like, we can acknowledge that happened. Let's tell some jokes.
Right.
And I went, okay, they don't need that. They need, let's make this funny. Let's talk about this.
Absolutely.
And I did an album called America Rules, recorded on September 19th. That was written from September 11th to September 19th.
Oh, wow.
And it became an album. And that all was about September 11th. And it was all written in 1 week.
Where'd you
Because I
perform
felt
that?
the need. That one was at the Improv in Brea.
And how did the audience respond that soon?
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, that's
it was
like a week
amazing.
after? Holy
we were
shit.
gonna get an HBO special, but they were like, you know what? It's a little too raw right now.
Yeah.
Let's let it go. And
People
then
need
it
comedy
went
more than ever.
Yeah.
And to do it that soon after, God bless, man.
And now I feel the same. And I have one joke or one premise that is about the hypocrisy of when I went to an LGBTQ show. They said every joke that I'm supposed to not tell. And supposedly,
that's a good point.
It's not Carlos can't tell it. It's nobody can tell these jokes. And I went, but why are you telling these jokes?
Right.
And I had my friend, I go, listen, you need to get me on the stage because I need to call them out in their hypocrisy. And so that led me to seeing an urban show where the N-word was thrown around and that's okay. A Latino show where they just spoke Spanish and nobody cared. A Middle Eastern show. And then I said, so now we've worked so hard to become a country of mixed people, but now the Hindus go to the Hindus and the Mexicans go to the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans go to the Puerto Ricans.
Divided.
So that's how we're supposed to do it now?
Right.
So like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell the jokes.
Good.
I don't care. And so I got to go back out there and do some stuff, but appreciate you guys.
Man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
Before you go, Ron.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Come over there.
Cool.
All right, cool. We'll see
All right.
if he comes back. That was fucking awesome.
That was really awesome.